Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the final CEO update for 2025. Sitting here on the 10th of December. Just came out of NIBA's last board meeting for the year. Had a really constructive conversation. Thought I'd just give you a little bit of a wrap up of all things NIBA over 2025. Been a super busy year and in many ways a year of transformation for not only NIBA but for the sector. Lots of stuff going on to comment on, and if I reflect on the conversation we've been having in NIBA, it's ultimately how do we make sure that the aggregate voice of brokers is well heard in Canberra, in the halls and corridors of power across the country. And if I reflect back, we've been in lots of different places. This morning we ran a breakfast with our senior leadership across the sector, a meeting with Minister Sophie Cotzes. It's a frequent visit now into the New South Wales Parliament, with strata, with workers' comp and the like. Equally, we've been very present in the Western Australian conversation around workers' compensation as well, and there's a very strong and emerging discussion in Tasmania around TasInsure. It's been a year of an election at a federal level. We have a new Minister Merlino. We've been engaged and engaging significantly in Canberra on all things impacting the broking sector. Again, with our frame up of informing, educating and then ultimately advocating. And so that's been a really productive and valuable set of conversations. But you know, it's an always on game and it's a long-term conversation as well. Politics continually changes, ebbs and flows, and the way in which the sector represents itself, ultimately continually important. It's probably a nice segue into the second conversation that we've been having over the last few months, and that's really about having a data-led conversation across the market. So we've been in field with our Project Apollo. We've now launched Ready or Reacting, which is almost the roadmap for broking over the next 10 years. And delighted to announce at the end of February, we're going to be launching our next two reports. The end of January report is really around looking at the state of the sector. How many brokers, total GWP, age and stage and demographics of brokers, large versus small, regional versus city. So a really interesting piece of work that will come to life towards the back end of January. Equally, in February, we've been hard at work asking consumers, customers who use brokers, about their experience, about what's important to them. And again, we've seen the early run of the data. Going to be really delighted to share that with you because the evidence coming through from consumers who use brokers is strong and it's powerful and it's evidencing the really important role that brokers play, not only at inception, not only as strategic advisor, but all the way through the renewal, the reviews, and ultimately at claim times, that moment of truth. So more to come on that. End of Feb is that piece of work. Of course, the other significant piece of work we've done this year is around the code. The board today met with our independent code reviewer, Phil Curry from CRK. He's been a fantastic asset to the process. We've tried to be thoughtful, we've tried to be thorough, we've tried to pace it so that everyone can have a view and a voice into the code conversation, and we're expecting his final report imminently, hoping to have it released before Christmas. That then will signal what happens in the start of next year, which is basically consulting further with members to get to a point of common understanding, engage closely with stakeholders and all parts of the community that have an interest in what we do before we sign off the code and then head into the code writing process. So lots more to come on code, but a big shout out to everyone who's been involved and been interested, and really a request for everyone to stay with us in this conversation. Codes are really a calling card of the professionalism and the honour in which we hold the right to advise clients, to advise the sector, to provide advice and guidance. And codes really represent that kind of consumer trust component. So really important conversation as we steer into the front end of 2026. On the community front, it's been super busy and it's been super fantastic. Delighted to attend a number of the end of year events. We had bowls and we had quizzes. We had a way to bring the community together at a state level, so that happened right across the country. 24 odd events this year that happened in the States, planning for close to 30 next year. So it's fantastic to see Tasmania and the Northern Territorians and the folks in the ACT, along with the big cities, really supporting events and activities in their local precinct. And so more to come on that as well. And look, as ever, NIBA is a community. When they come together, communities thrive when you bring in the disparities and the diversity across the marketplace with a common purpose. And ultimately that common purpose is to help consumers get great professional advice on the risks that they face, and also to help improve the lot and the competence, the capability across the sector. And so that's kind of the big mission that takes us into 2026. We, as a collective team from NIBA, really thank you all for your contribution, your engagement, your support. We're looking forward to working with you in 2026. Please have a safe and lovely Christmas break, hoping that the weather conditions stay calm. We've obviously seen some very intense fires last week all across the country. So on behalf of all of us here, take care, and we'll be back in 2026. Bye for now.